Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host Hamza Chowdhury, and welcome to today's daily stock recap, guys. It's July 1st, 2021. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week and have some exciting plans for the 4th of July holiday. Definitely a good time to take a holiday, take a break from trading and from work in general, and recharge for the week ahead. With that said, guys, I always appreciate your support, so don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. If you're new to this channel, guys, we basically go over a handful of tickers and stocks that we cover. I do day trading tips. I'm also going to release a video for you guys who either have real estate or looking at real estate and start doing some tips and tricks as a licensed structural engineer. With the recent collapse in Miami or in Florida, with the collapse of the condo building, I wanted to do sort of tips and tricks on structures and buildings that might help you as an owner, protect your investment, and things that you should look for as well. And so I will be posting something regarding DEX today or tomorrow, so do look for that. That will be a new playlist that we add on the channel. With that said, guys, so we'll start off with Aapl. Aapl today, it's definitely hitting this top, and we talked about the consolidation we had at 135, and we sort of retraced back to the 200-day. The same thing, guys. It's 122 to 137. You get these 15% movers. Definitely not room for me interested to start a new long position. What I would wait for, and what you see a lot of times if a stock is bullish, right, is after it makes its run, is for it to retreat back to its 20-day. And so what I would do personally is I would look to definitely be selling the majority of my shares in Aapl. If I'm shorting the stock, I would risk up to here around 138, 139. But you can see we're pretty much right there at the crown here. Okay. And so we're sort of retesting this level at 137. And like I mentioned, I would probably take this back to the 131, 130 if I were to start a new long position. And so I expect that, again, the market's been pretty much overextended. We're making new highs pretty much on a daily basis. Okay. And so it's been a great stock, guys. Again, riding this from the 200-day, I mentioned to you guys in the last couple of videos, I've been playing the options, pretty much sold in this strength, but obviously those options would have been probably 300% plus return with this type of a move. Tesla, we talked about in the last video, staying familiar with certain levels, and we mentioned, as always, a 695 has been a strong resistance previously in Tesla, and so you can see we're sort of trading in this sort of chop zone. Now there is a gap fill here around 660, which just happens to be a strong support that we've had in the past as well. And so don't be surprised if you see a market flush, that if you see Tesla trade below 660 and fill in this gap before we sort of bounce and come back and retest some highs. And so again, I'm still bullish on Tesla. I still expect us to sort of retrace back to the highs and $1,000 price target for this year. We're actually down for the year if you could think about where we were trading sort of going into the year. And so we were trading up in the 8s and the 9s, and then essentially we've been trading sideways and making, in some case, just a consolidation range right here, right from the mid 5s to essentially the 7s. And so we've been, it's a wide range, but you can see Tesla hasn't really been clear on its direction. And in this case, I just think it's a consolidation considering the massive move it's made. And so it's just holding key levels, and you can see that the volume's been kind of consistent. And what I would say is, if you're a new long position, you could definitely wait here, 660, but you can also wait here. You can see there's a lot of convergence here between the 20, the 50, and the 200-day. Okay, and so anything around that area is going to be an area of interest to add a new long. But like I said, I wouldn't be adding a new long position in Tesla here, considering the downside risk definitely outweighs the uptick right now. Okay, with Palantir, I kind of expected this. We had this really nice run from earnings from 17 all the way up to 27.50, which we've called, past here and multiple times, really from back here before the massive move on demo day. And so 27.50 has been a strong resistance for Palantir. And so it's had this massive run. You can see now we're actually trading below the 20-day, which is kind of a bummer. What that tells me is there's probably a good potential that we may, risk down here to 23 at the 50-day. And so same thing with Palantir, is it's been a strong stock, but you can see there hasn't been necessarily a whole lot of volume. We did have this big volume day, but maxing out at 27.50 and now retreating back to the 50-day. I was expecting some consolidation and then waiting to see that we get this gap fill, like I mentioned to you guys, which was my short-term price target at 31.50. And so again, it's been weak the last 3 days. We've had a retreat now of almost 3 points. And so again, for Palantir longs, baggers like myself, we're just waiting to get this fill here at 31.50 to sort of, get out of the long position and then maybe look at potentially re-entering at a different price. Again, guys, solid move from 17 to 27. That's a 10-point move in a matter of about a month. Okay, hopefully you got that. I've been shorting Wish at the 15, which is clearly been its sort of problem child. I've been shorting Wish the last few days, but I decided today specifically to actually get into a long position. You can see again, as always, guys, staying familiar. You can see we got a perfect bounce off the 20-day right over right under 12. And so I believe the low today was 11.95. And so we got a perfect bounce off that 20-day. You can see we've had this massive run. Now, when we broke out of this 50-day, to me, what I'd like to see obviously is a higher high and a higher low. And so here we barely got over the 15 level. Essentially retested that and it failed. And so what I'd like to see now is that we don't necessarily retreat back here to $10, but we essentially bounce off and we can hold the 20-day to consider and continue this sort of, you know, bullish concept in Wish. Okay, and so if we retreat back to the 50-day and we potentially even close below that, now we're back to being bearish. But with this crossover and with the fact that now the 50-day is starting to turn positive, my hope is that we can hold this level here right under 12, and that we can continue high, and now we can break out next time we see 15. Okay, and so you can see with Wish, you know, nearby term is this was a stock that came out here and it flushed under 20 on the first day it started trading. And so really ideally you'd like to trade around the IPO price, but you can see from $20 it went down to 7. Okay, and so from 7 to 12 you still have a pretty significant return, and so essentially it's taking a little break. So let's just hope that if we can get bullish momentum on Wish and get even some type of catalyst, you can see the volumes completely picked up on the stock, that we can at least break through this 15 level and then start retesting up here into the high teens. Okay, so not much excitement there. It's going to probably be a swing long position. I'll see. I might take some out at 15 just to pay myself, but most likely, like I said, I'm expecting with all these retesting of 15 that we break through it the next time on a high volume candle. A stock that I did trade today, which is just IPO'd yesterday, is what they call the Uber of China. You probably heard of it. It's called Didi. And what I was looking for specifically was let me pull out a different chart here, was basically 30 second, we'll do a minute chart here, was the pre-market. And so if you come here, there is a pre-market here bottom of 15. Okay, and so this is what my entry was. Believe it or not, I think I went 15.05, and I actually was 5 cents to the money on the bottom of Didi. And so, you know, looking at the pre-market, understanding kind of where the algos were trading it, this is where I wanted it. Now this is a stock that actually flushed down to here to 14.15, and so you could have risked essentially 75 cents, and I could have let this thing run all day really without even having to sell it. Okay, so you could have bought here near the bottom for today and just let it run, and you'd be up at least 1.5 points, which is a crazy trade. I didn't capture that much of a move. I sold into the strength here. I like to sell within the first hour, but it was a great play. And like I said, just being patient, not buying at the pre-market, not going full size in the pre-market and just waiting and just saying, this is where the level that I've seen so many bounces, right? We've seen so many bounces off this 15 level, and we had a perfect bounce off of that. And instantly you're up 50, 60 cents in a matter of minutes. Okay, so that was a great trade today. MRIN, I mean, this was a completely dangerous stock if you're on the short side. I actually had some levels here because I noticed that we were constantly resisting off of this level around 1260. So I actually did have a short alert to short at this level. The reason why I ended up getting chopped out was obviously you saw the amount of volume and how heavy this thing felt. And so what they do is they stuffed this thing and they ended up halting it 3 times all the way up to the top here around $20. And you can see here that it actually broke the top here, which was previously right under 19. And so it was a great short if you could have got anything under $20 between 18 and 20. And then there was this good flush. And so I did reshort it. I did cover some, and I actually wanted to go long, knowing that we could probably test up to 16, and we ended up testing right up to 17, and now we flushed back again. And so when you short, guys, remember you want to short pops once a stock has shown that it's having issues. And so there's a lot of consolidation in this area, and so this is the area that you'd want to reshort. Don't just reshort randomly because you see a stock going down. Okay, and so for example, when this stock sort of bounced here just from 15 to 15.20, right, this is the level I would have wanted to reshort. Okay, as the previous supports are now going to be resistance. And so it clearly broke through this level here at 16, and this is where I would have wanted to short it, which would have worked here, but then you can see that validation went through the roof once this thing broke through and came back up to this level in the 17s. Okay, but clearly the stock, guys, it's only a 10 million float, so that's why it moves as fast as it does. It's been the talk, obviously there's no news on this. It's purely a momentum play. This was, just to re-emphasize, this was a $3 stock just a few days ago. Okay, so don't bag hold that. I know one of our listeners wanted for me to check out Bitcoin. As you guys know, I am very bearish on Bitcoin. I have been for quite a while. And I mentioned, the first day we talked about it, way back here, is that the first target was 30 to 40. We had 40, and then I mentioned it would be 30, and it happened in the same day. And so, guys, I mentioned if it wasn't going to get over 45,000, that I was more, continue to be bearish on it. And so you can see we're in this chop zone. We've been consolidating. We've had some days where we've retested, but we can't seem to get above this level here around 41,000, 42,000. And so my thesis is now is we've had validation here, constant bouncing off of 28,000. But if we break 28,000, yes, my new price target would definitely be down here, closer to 20,000. And that's where I would want to start a new long in Bitcoin. Okay, if I was shorting Bitcoin, I would essentially cut it right here at 41,000. Okay, this is where the thesis would go away. If we can get through this area, then I would basically turn into potentially being bullish back onto Bitcoin. But we know how the market is, and we know that the market looks for max pain. And so I think the max pain is really getting people stuck into Bitcoin. So the 20,000 to me is very in play. And I'm not saying that because I know most of you guys probably are in some type of coin, currency or whatever, and I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just telling you guys just what the market does, right? It's looking for the max pain, it's looking for margin calls, it's looking for you to sell, and that's just what it does. And so if I were to risk, like I mentioned, I would see a flush potentially down here at 20,000. If it continues to base here, right, like Tesla is basing at 550, 600, right, we can continue to see a retrace, but this will take some time. And so for me, I can definitely see a kind of a risk sort of, flush, kind of market drop down here to 20, more than I can see kind of a race back up here to test highs at like 50, 60,000. Okay, so with that said, guys, again, I will post that video on the DEX. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, post a question, comment if you have any, and I wish you guys the best. Take care. Bye-bye.